the nature of your emergency?
Welcome back to the Tactical Living Podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Walton, joined by Sergeant Walton. And how are you?
I'm good.
You know, something that you and I experienced this year that I don't think that we've ever experienced before is your fatigue and why you were tired even after you slept all of the time. And, you know, being on graveyard, it really did a number on you. And there's a psychological concept that I wanted us to kind of break down today, and it's called allostatic load. And I think that by understanding it, it might help to better understand why you might feel tired even after rest.
I hated graveyard. and the reason being is because, like, I would come home and I would go to bed almost immediately after I got home, and I would sleep for, I would get 6-7 hours of sleep every day, but it was never good quality sleep. So I felt tired all the time. And it's a struggle, especially in the first responder realm. Like that shift work it's a problem. And some people's circadian rhythm like aligns with that very well. Not mine. It's a struggle. It's hard, but it's being able to really look at, okay, if my sleep's not that good, I think we underutilize and don't put the importance on our sleep as we should.
Yeah, and first responders and, our armed service members too, they experience a very unique form of exhaustion. It has very little to do with laziness and actually has everything to do with that shift work, but also things like hypervigilance, your trauma exposure, your cortisol dysregulation, and the emotional overload that comes with what you do for work.
Yeah, I think over time you start building up that resiliency to where your mind's going nonstop. I mean, I can think of, I've always had a struggle with falling asleep, even as a kid, of like my mind's so active and stupid stuff comes into my brain when I'm trying to fall asleep. And as I've gotten older, it's gotten a little bit better, but finding different alternatives to help me fall asleep. Once I'm asleep, I'm good. It's just finding those different alternative methods to help you fall asleep, which helps a lot.
Allostatic load, it refers to this cumulative wear and tear on your body, and it's caused by the chronic stress. And so for first responders, this comes from things like that nonstop adrenaline dump, sleep disruption, trauma exposure. You often have erratic sleep schedules or awake schedules. You're hypervigilant all of the time. You have this emotional suppression. There's a lot of things that contribute to this when you're a first responder.
Yeah, and I think it's recognizing that and knowing and having a good sleep routine to be able to, shut down your mind, shut down that hypervigilance, that going from a stressful day. Like I can think of, when you had a very stressful day and you have a lot going on and those issues didn't get resolved, whatever it may be, to where you could fall asleep, but then you wake up early because you have this pressure still weighing on you because you haven't resolved it yet.
Luckily for most of us, we're not out there every day waking up, stepping out of a cave and worrying first thing about fighting lions, tigers, or bears. But I want us to remember that on a primal level, our body's number one goal is survival. And so just because we live in a modern society and we have the amenities, the safety, the protection, all of the things that we have today, that doesn't take away from those primal instincts. And it's so important to know that and to recognize that, because that's what's going to be impacted the most when you have all of these other stressors that are going on. And over time, having this repeated stress cycle, it's going to break down your body's natural ability to reset. And the reason why is because your body is always going to think that it's in survival mode. It's literally trying to make sure that you don't die.
Yeah, and I think it's important to, once you recognize that, and it's such a good information. I think with everything in life in general, it's information and being able to adapt. Like Ashley and I have talked about this before. Like one thing we absolutely love is our Aura rings, and being able to have those and track where you're at any given time, whether it's sleep, whether it's your restfulness, stress levels, whatever it may be. It's good to track that because that's information. Like, okay, well, what jumped out at me today that was different from the day previous?
Yeah, and if this is something that you're experiencing, it might be because your nervous system doesn't actually power down fully. Things like hypervigilance, it could keep your brain on that on and alert mode 24/7, and even things like your hormones could be stuck in crisis mode. I know for me, and we've all experienced this before, but having it on a long-term basis is when it can become harmful, where you'll have these cortisol spikes and then these crashes, and it happens on repeat. And what that does is it just throws off your natural energy rhythms.
Yeah, and when you start feeling drained, like you start, wearing yourself out to where you're not as productive, you're not able to function as a high performer, and you want to be able to create that balance and find that rhythm to where you're able to get that good restful sleep, have that relaxation time, have that time to where your body can shut down and recharge itself. I mean, the perfect example of it is having a cell phone. Like if you're on your phone nonstop all the day, working it, whether it's social media, you're talking on it, you're texting, playing games, whatever it may be, eventually your phone's going to run out of battery life. The same thing goes with our bodies, is we have to sit down and recharge sometimes to be able to function.
You mentioned our Oura rings, and a lot of the times you think you're sleeping enough, but you're not getting deep enough sleep. And having the proper REM sleep is so important, and you're not going to know if you are or not, and having those restorative cycles unless you have a way to be able to track it. That's one reason why we like our Oura rings so much. And you mentioned the cell phone thing. I am thinking of one police officer in particular, to where I'm now to the point of any time that he comes to me and tells me how bad he slept, I'm like, that sucks for you. And the reason for that is because he and I have had very deep conversations about stop TikToking up until the moment before you're trying to go to sleep. Our brains, studies have shown, need at least 2 hours away from screen time in order for us to fully be able to shut down properly. And that screen time includes all screens, your television included. And there are things that we can do throughout the day too to help to where we're not getting that need for the constant stimulation by our phones, like simply turning things into grayscale. I know the mere thought of doing that probably turns you off, and yet that's actually information telling you that maybe you should.
Yeah, it's finding those new habits, finding those new outlets to be able to, get outside your normal. Like I have a friend who talks to me, oh, I'm tired. I'm like, well, what did you do? Like, what did you do right before bed? Oh, I was just watching Instagram. I was scrolling through social media, and then I fell asleep with my phone in my hand. I go, well, that's problem number one.
Yeah, I can't wait to put my phone down, and it's usually somewhere around 6 p.m. where I close my, the phone, the laptop, everything. That's like, I seek that out throughout the entire day from 4 a.m. up until 6 p.m. usually. And it's really important to just test yourself and see how it impacts you when you do something like that. And mind you, when I say put my phone down, I'm talking like face down. I don't want to see that thing at all.
Yeah, you don't want to see the highlights of messages. You don't want to see the news banners coming up, because if you see your screen, you're going to have that feeling that you have to grab it and to look at it.
Yeah, it's actually, I have all notifications off on my phone except for you, my dad, and our Ring camera. That's all I got.
Yeah.
And our Ring camera, that's usually what I see going off at night. Maybe it's the wind or a coyote or a rabbit or something triggering the cameras, and I don't want any part of it when I'm home and ready to go to sleep.
No, it's so important to have those alerts turned off to where you're not so tied into your phone where you have to always be responding to anyone and everyone.
And that's actually a part of my downshift ritual. And I think everybody every night needs to have a downshift ritual, whether it's breath work or praying or stretching. I recently read something talking about the health benefits before bed of taking a shower in the dark. And I'm like, man, if I was a man and I didn't need to shave and wash my makeup off and like do all of those things, like just the mere thought of going into our shower when it wasn't freezing because it's so cold right now, and having the lights turned off and just like letting the warm water drip on my body in the pitch dark, like That sounds amazing, actually.
It is amazing. I love having just completely dark showers, and it's just having that hot water hit your body. It is so relaxing. You have the steam, you have everything with it. It's just, it really like resets your system.
And it is so important, and I have found this because I've experimented with it, to protect the first 30 minutes after you wake up. How do we protect that? Don't scroll on your phone as soon as you get up. Don't reply to those messages as soon as you get up, because then they're going to reply back to you and you're going to feel the need to correspond back to them and have a conversation within 30 minutes of waking, and that it's not necessary.
We always feel that we need to be responsive, and I'm absolutely guilty of this, is not responding, because we wake up so early. Like, I wouldn't message people, but people will message me at 7:30, 8 o'clock at night when I've already put my phone down and I'm not looking at it until the next day, to where I always apologize. Oh, I'm sorry, I fell asleep already. And there's no need to even be so tied into your phone. You shouldn't have to do that. You should be okay of creating that dynamic, is I'm not always having my phone with me.
My pushback for you with that is to set boundaries by telling people, I go to bed around 7, so I put my phone down around 6:30. That way people know, don't message me because you're not going to get a response.
Yeah.
I hope you've gotten some value out of today's episode. If you have, do us a favor, drop a review, subscribe down below, and as always, know that I'm sending you a long, tight hug from my home to yours.